Okay, so I'm back to talk about another thing that no one really cares about, but maybe more people care about. Well, no, still no one cares about it. And that is Professor Layton. I'm gonna be talking about, I think today, just the first two games in the Professor Layton series, and those are Professor Layton in the Curious Village and Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box. This game series came out on DS. And then it transitioned to 3DS, and now there's some on the Switch, and they've released some of them as iPhone games, and they're just really good. So they're really good, but they all are kind of weird and have some weird plot holes, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about because
I just need to talk about it.
And I can't find anybody else talking about it, so
I just need to talk about it.
They're puzzle games, and they usually have a story, an overarching mystery, and the whole gameplay system is you progress through the game by completing puzzles, and then you get information about the larger mystery, and then you
solve it. That's what you do.
So in Professor Layton in the Curious Village, basically the plot of this is Professor Layton and Luke go to St. Mystere because they were called there by a letter from Lady Dahlia to help them find the golden apple. And the golden apple is this mysterious heirloom left by the Baron who just died, and anybody who finds the golden apple gets his fortune or whatever. But we're not really there for money. We just love a great mystery, and we have to help Lady Dahlia because a gentleman always helps a lady in need. So the whole way you find the golden apple is you're just asking questions around the village, but at the same time there's some other weird stuff going on where some of the villagers are dead, they've been murdered, or they go missing, and then they'll pop up later and they're fine, and they're no, I'm fine, I just felt a little sick but now I feel fine, and you're okay, well that's a little fishy.
Okay.
So you're kind of solving that at the same time, and basically at the end the golden apple ends up being the Baron's daughter because she has a golden apple birthmark. Her name's Flora. She's been kept in this big scary tower that's at the edge of town, that everyone tells you not to go to, and she lives there with I forget his name, Bruno. He's this engineer, I guess. All the villagers are automatons or robots that the Baron made to protect his daughter, to make sure that anyone that was trying to find the golden apple was worthy, and that's why they ask you puzzles and are quizzing you, whatever. So none of them are real. There's some questions with that, where did the original townspeople go? Because they've lived, the Baron and his daughter have lived there for a super long time. Did he kill them all? If you were as close with this town as it seems he was, couldn't you just ask the villagers to look out for your daughter? I don't know, that's kind of weird. And also how did Flora not know? She learns that they're robots at the same time that we do, and I'm okay, but you technically grew up in this village. So Lady Dahlia was a robot made to replace her mom when her mom died, and that was way before the Baron died, so she knows that her dad does this sometimes. You grew up with these people, so shouldn't you know? Are they not did he make exact versions of the villagers and then just kill the real ones and swap them in with robots? I don't know. I
don't know.
That's the problems with the first one, because the rest of it, the story stands up. It's a little weird, but it checks out. The second game is one of my favorite games of all time, and that's Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box. And this game has a lot more plot holes that don't check out. And I've probably played this game I don't know, at least 5 times since then, or since I first played it in I don't know, 2008, 2009. I really just I don't want it to have any issues.
Spoilers.
The plot is one of your friends has been tracking this box, the Elysian box, and it's rumored to kill anybody who opens it, and your friend opens it and seemingly dies. So then you're okay, well I'm gonna track down the box because find the box, find the killer, all that stuff. So to find the box, we track it to we take the Voluntary Express, which is this fancy train, to this village of Dropstone, and then there's some shenanigans, and we go into a different car of the train, and the trains disconnect, and you end up going to the secret town of Fall Sense. And when we get to Fall Sense, it's creepy and weird and whatever. Basically the town looks exactly the same as it did 50 years ago, and so that's pretty weird. We're still tracking the box. We learn that the owner of the train is also tracking the box, And also there's a bunch of rumors that like in this creepy castle, like a vampire lives there and he's been like stealing people, like eating them, and the people like barely get away. We discovered that like Anton, who's the guy that's been living in the castle, is the brother of the guy who owns the train. But it's weird because he like looks super young, whatever. And also that he's been kidnapping like the villagers and like purposely letting them get away to like keep up rumors that he's a vampire, to like keep people away from the castle. I don't know, it's a very Scooby-Doo-esque idea if you ask me. And then we find out like the Elysian box is not deadly, but it has like a trace of this gas in it, and that gas like causes hallucinations, and the hallucinations scare people into like seeing whatever they thought they were gonna see in the box, so then like the hallucination kills them. And like that gas came from these mines. So basically 50 years ago, the town was like abandoned because they hit a vein of this noxious gas, and so like everybody left except for Anton. And so this is like where the stories get weird, because like the town's abandoned, but you're like, okay, but there were people here and I've been talking to people this whole time, so what the hell? But all the people were like hallucinated by Anton, like Luke, and Professor Layton. So it's like, okay, well, I found all this out by like talking to people in the town, and it's the people in the town who like told you about the vampire. So like we're hallucinating all this information. So like we already knew it. Like the whole time we already knew that there was a vampire. Like I don't understand where the information came from if it's hallucinations telling us that, aka our brain. I don't really understand. And also like we're hallucinating the same thing, like that's seems a little suspicious. So Anton's like part like breathing in the gas too, and that's why he thinks he's like, that's why we see him as super young, because we've seen pictures of him before, so like that part makes sense. But also like he's like old at this point, so like is he not realizing like,
Oh shit, I have arthritis? Maybe I'm not a vampire?
I don't know, and he knows he's not a vampire because he knows he's not eating anybody, because it was all a plot, like it was all like fake, like kidnapping people. Like he purposely let them go, but also they're not real because they're also hallucinations, so I just have a lot of questions. And like, you know, when you're in town, like you stay, like while you're there in false sense, you stay like at a hotel and you go to restaurants, and so like you're eating food and like people provide services for you, but like who's doing that then? It's just very confusing. So the first town you go to before the secret town, like the town of Dropstone, is where all of the like villagers who like abandoned False Sense went. So then I'm like, well, did like nobody think to tell him?
Like, hey, we're leaving?
And like the Elysian box like was a box connected between like Anton and like his lover Katya? No. That's it. I don't know. His lover, whatever. Like she tried to tell him because like she was trying to send him a letter like through that about why like she left because she was pregnant with her kid and she didn't want the kid to be like damaged by the gas, but for some reason she couldn't tell him, like something to do with his dad, whatever. I get that part. His brother clearly left because his brother owns the Voluntary Express that takes the train here. But like he was also looking for the box and was also like he's really close with some of the villagers in this town. But I'm like,
But you left so you know that it's abandoned. So then you should know that all these people are fake.
and on that note, the other weird thing is there's one character, Eliana. So she runs a cabaret, you know, little lady of the night, but she like always hits on Luke, who's like a kid, and like, I don't know, just says some like weird things to him, and I'm just like,
Why?
but also it's not real. So like whose brain is that coming from? It's super weird because like it's just like a cute, sad, like love story because like Anton and like the girl were like in love. She left also because she was pregnant, like I said, but he thinks that like she left because she was in love with someone else because like she said something really cryptic where she was like, there's somebody who needs me more than you, like who I love, and he was like,
Okay, so you're cheating on me.
because the other thing is that she sends the box through the mail, but the mailman is a hallucination because no one delivers mail there because the town's abandoned, which she knew because she left it. So I just don't really understand that part. And I really hate that because I really, like I said, like it really is one of my favorite games. But also like, I don't know, it just doesn't really add up because...
It just doesn't add up. But I still really like it.
So after like playing it through again the most recent time, I was like, well, let me like look some of this stuff up because like a lot of people play this game. I'm probably just stupid and I'm just like missing some piece of dialogue that like explains all of this. But like I'm not. So if you haven't played it, you should play it on like the phone version because I think it might be free. Also, I'm just spoiled a lot of it, but yeah.